Hello people of YouTube. I have been building several of these metal earth kits here recently and making videos of the builds, and I received a few comments on those videos. One of the comments I've gotten recently is I should try using the toolkit that Fascinations makes for these metal earth models. There's clippers in there that will make it easy to cleanly cut the pieces from these little trees or spruce or whatever you want to call them. I have tried a few different tools that I have and nothing has worked out, so I tend to twist and bend them off, which is normally something I wouldn't do with plastic models, and I do have clips for those, but those clips do not work well for these metal earth kits. So upon that suggestion, I thought I would go ahead and order me a pair of the toolkit or a set of the toolkits, check them out for myself, and that just came today. So let's open it up, take a look at it, and see what we think. And here we have the pieces here. Some flat nose pliers, some really long needle nose, and some clippers. I'm going to cut this out of the package. Actually, before I do that, and it even has a bit on the back. Clippers, great for cutting pieces from the metal sheets. Eliminates the need to remove each piece by bending back and forth, which is the main reason I got this. Flat nose pliers used to hold parts securely and to create tight, continual connections by pulling and twisting tabs. Needlenose pliers also used to hold parts plus bend and twist tabs, but can reach places in which the flat nose pliers do not fit. And forgive me if I'm reading like a kindergartner, reading it upside down. Now, I've seen these on Amazon. I looked into them, and the reviews say, several of the reviews have said that these pliers seem like they're cheaply made, and some people have even had to sand off flash from where they were molded, which is kind of amusing. First impressions, I haven't gotten them out of here yet, but they do have some decent weight to them, so that looks good. Now, pop this loose and set these out. So, needle nose. First of all, they have little springs, so they come back open. That's kind of neat. That could come in handy in certain situations. And needlenose pliers, take a close look at these. They seem to be decent. Just a little bit of, I don't know if that'll come out. A little bit of a raised portion in here that might need some sanding over, but I like that these are so long. These are longer, I think, than anything I have. These are the tools that I have been using, and these are the needle nose from Fascinations kit, and they are quite a bit longer, so that's nice. That will do good for some of those really long pieces. Here we have the flat nose. Now I really do wonder how this is going to come in handy, but it does seem to be fairly well made. I don't know if I'd compare it with Craftsman or anything, but I don't see any big issues with flash or molding pieces sticking off or not being even or well cast. They seem pretty decent. Nice non-slip handles, spring-loaded, so you don't have to, you know, sometimes you're trying to do things, you got pieces in this hand, you're trying to do something with this, and the pliers won't open wide enough, and you're fiddling, trying to get them open and grab a hold of that part. You don't have to worry about with this. Now I can certainly see these coming in handy for when they're a lot longer, so you've got those long flat pieces that you have to bend. This will do a better job than most needle nose pliers, and the ends are pretty tiny. It's going to make it a little handier than your standard tweezers. May be able to get into some spots this can't. It's also longer. These sort of come in fairly handy for the X-Wing, which has some spots that you really have to get deep in there. So I'm looking forward to testing these out and seeing where these might be more appropriate. Off the top of my head, I can't see where these flat nose would be very helpful, but they might be helpful in shaping some parts. And then this is the main thing I'm after. Is a pair of dovetail flippers. Ha ha ha. Seem like they could use a little bit of oil, but I have some spare pieces from the different kits that I have. And I'm told that these are small enough that they can easily get in there and clip out those parts. So let me see how that goes. Took a couple of tries. Not so sure it made a clean cut. Try another part. We've got this piece here. It's kind of long and thin. Let's see if we can cleanly cut that out or how it's going to look. That worked nicely. Okay, so not too bad. It is able to cut some pieces out. Let me see if I can zoom in some more. Here's a nice one. We got this long strip here. It can be quite difficult to get these long strips out without doing damage. Hold these the right way and clip. We'll turn it around. Got a feeling that's not going to show up. And there you go. Not so much. Not working. There. It worked. So they're not perfect, they just barely fit into those spaces, but it is a little nicer than trying to twist it off. So it might take a few clips to get it in there, but this will work. This will make things better, and it's better than the ones that I had, but the tips on these are not quite as narrow as the tips on these, and it just barely fits into those spaces. And so yeah, this will help. I look forward to this. And then you've got, like I said before, with these Needlenose, they're very long. And this is one of the X-Wing fighters that I ended up putting together wrong. But in here, and I don't know if it's going to show up, but there's little tabs that you have to twist through, and you need some long, thin pliers to get in there. And it looks as if these just barely would do. They're a little tight. I used these guys. These are some forceps I picked up. The end is not as long, but overall they're very long. And unlike this tool, unlike this one, which gets thicker as you go up, this one really doesn't. Not very much. So this was excellent for getting into that. So I don't know that this is going to completely replace these for reaching into spots, they will make bending over those end pieces and long side pieces much easier. They should. The only thing that concerns me, and the problem that I have with the needle nose I already got, is, you know, pieces are small and thin, but when you have it long enough, this only closes so far. Once it hits down here towards the other end, you've got a bigger gap. You know, you can use this, but what happens with some of the really long ones is you still, when you close it over the ends, you know, you can only go so far because there's metal there, so the end of it kind of fans out just a little bit, and you can still wiggle it. And I'm worried you're going to have a similar problem here because there's only so much you can do. And you can't, it's hard to see. I don't know if the camera will get it, but you've got a little wiggle room in there, so that's kind of unavoidable. The only thing you can do there is to try and put a curve on the inside to compensate, which maybe they've done a little bit because I can see a little bit of light through here. Maybe that's accidental. And as far as this is concerned, for twisting some parts and folding over smaller parts, this may work quite well, especially with the flat nose. I wish I had a longer piece that I could test these on, but this is the best I got. And that one's pretty simple, you know, except for the whole bending it the wrong way thing. And this tiny one right here. This is the longest spare part I can find, so probably not going to be very telltale because this is such a wide piece. It wouldn't warp so easy, but it's the best I've got for the moment. Just to see if any warping occurs. That's my concern with these, although there's a little bit of play in the end, but it doesn't seem to be as much as it was with my other pliers. So these may work out quite a bit better. That's a problem you get sometimes. It's not long enough, or there's too much of a gap and you bend something that has a slight kind of curve to it when you're done. No, that didn't happen because of this. I just kind of simulated it. And these flat nose probably make a good replacement for bending some parts over than the tweezers do. It's a more solid grip. Come to think of it, I could see it coming in handy with a small piece like this, where you hold the middle part and the flat nose and use something else to bend that over. And there you go. So yeah, I can see these coming in handy. So I really wished I had something longer, like one of the bases. And I don't have any extra laying around. I've kept a lot of trees, and a lot of these spare parts, but some I've used in other examples, some I've thrown away. I'm gonna have something coming up that's got a long base, and I look forward to testing these out, but I have high hopes. They seem to have a better grip than these little guys. If you have a good selection of tools, you may not need this. If you don't have anything, you're putting together a lot of these kits, this is a good investment. It will give you the tools you need to do it cleaner and better. I think that's a good idea. It's about 15 bucks, give or take, depending on where you get it. If you do have tools, you can get by with, you know, I had Needlenose pliers already. If I could have found a pair of these that were thinner on the end, that would have likely worked better. So they're not absolutely necessary to get, but they're not a bad investment if you're going to do a lot of these kits. I have high hopes. This kit is not as bad as the reviews said, or at least some of them. Some may be in better shape than others. I can only get the one. But it looks like it will help out with doing the Metal Earth kits. I look forward mostly to this and being able to cut out pieces finally and cleanly, mostly. And I look forward to trying out these Needlenose to see if I can bend some of the longer pieces over easier and trying to find out if that will have more uses than it looks like it will. So stay tuned for future videos, because I do have more kits I want to put together, more I want to buy. Transformers are coming up. Transformers are coming up in April, I believe, and I intend on getting those and putting those together. I still have one more Star Wars kit, the Droidica, that I haven't put together yet. And there's other kits that I may get into as time goes on. I only have so much time, but if I put together any other kits, I will definitely make a video and I will post it on here. And if there's any questions, just feel free to leave them down below. I'll do the best I can to answer them. Thank you for watching, and keep on keeping on.